Spoilers ahead.
The writers for Loki said they would further dial in and explain how time traveling works in the MCU. After researching online with a very good article by Time magazine, let's do a recap of how time travel happens in MCU. Firstly, time traveling is not like Back to the Future. Altering the past does not change the future. Or like the Terminator, whereby if someone went back in time and killed your grandfather, then you wouldn't be born in the future. We had our first explanation by the Ancient One in Avengers End Game. Traveling back in time to take all the Infinity Stones by the Avengers causes timelines to branch out. When you change something in the past, timeline branches out into another one. The Ancient One somehow said that it's fine for the timelines to branch out, but after borrowing the stones, they must be put back in the branch timeline, or else there will be death and chaos and destruction. Very bad things. So that's why the Avengers, after having defeated Thanos in 2023, sent Steve Rogers back to all the different timelines to put back all the stones. He even returned the borrowed Mjolnir hammer to its branch timeline. So what this means is that there could be now a variant of the hammer in an alternate timeline. It runs parallel to our timeline, but it's completely different. Hence, when Steve and Tony traveled back to the 1970s to steal the Space Stone from Howard Stark, it didn't mean that because Howard lost the stone, he couldn't study it and create the arc reactor. And Tony wouldn't have become Iron Man in our timeline, because it was a branch timeline, an alternate timeline. Hence, when Rhodes said, let's go back in time and kill baby Thanos to prevent Thanos from killing half the universe, wouldn't work, because it would only prevent Thanos from killing people in the branch timeline, not the main timeline, because the Avengers returned the stones immediately after they were taken, meaning they traveled to exactly the time it was borrowed in the past. The stones never left. Hence, nothing changed, and the timelines didn't branch out. However, Steve did create a branch timeline when he refused to return to 2023 and married Peggy Carter in the past. Hence, when he returned to 2023 with the vibranium shoe, the shoe's design is different from the original shoe from our main timeline, meaning he didn't just pluck it out from the past. It was actually from an alternate timeline, another branch reality, so to speak. Is Natasha Romanoff still alive in that branch reality? Possibly. Marvel doesn't explain in depth. Same thing with Evil Nebula from 2014 and Gamora from 2014. When they used the same PIM particles to travel from 2014 to 2023 and fight the Avengers, they inadvertently created a branch timeline. Hence, that's why the Evil Nebula and the original Good Nebula are different people. They are from different realities. However, it is here things get a bit murky. Steve traveled back in time to return the Power Stone exactly the time it was borrowed. So it never left. Hence, Steve prevented the branching of the timeline. However, because 2014 Nebula and Gamora escaped when they traveled to the future in 2023, and 2014 Nebula got killed, and now 2014 Gamora is still not found. It means 2014 Gamora is now a variant in our timeline. A variant meaning it doesn't belong in this timeline. Hence, why Steve or the Avengers didn't just bring a different Black Widow from a branch timeline back alive to the main timeline, because the Black Widow would be a variant. The new Loki TV series adds another layer to this. It explains there are ancient powerful beings called timekeepers. They are the ones who keep the timelines in check. With the help of the Time Variance Agency, TVA, they created. They monitor and prevent timelines from branching. The timekeepers like to keep timelines merged as just one, easy to manage. So this Loki escaped with the Tesseract. That's not what was supposed to happen. He was supposed to be taken back to Asgard and imprisoned, as in Thor, the Dark World movie. So this escaping of his is changing the past and causes the timeline to branch out, creating an alternate reality. Hence, that's why the TVA agents arrived and arrested this Loki variant, and then they planted a device in the branch reality to erase that reality. So here, according to MCU's time travel rules, I want to stress, is not as we think that because this Loki escaped with the Tesseract into this new reality, landing in the Gobi Desert, that means the SHIELD agents suddenly realize and is missing Loki in the Avengers Tower lobby. Remember, MCU says that branching doesn't affect the timeline from where it was branched out from. Hence, that Loki is still there and still got taken to Asgard and imprisoned.